Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another head-to-head battle, this time between a Resurgent-class Star Destroyer and an Imperial-class Star Destroyer. Which one will win? Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe for more content. For this head-to-head battle, we're going to use the Imperial I, meaning 1, class Star Destroyer, since it was a better all-around vessel with strong ship-to-ship turbo lasers and ion cannons, as well as point defense weapons. As you know from previous videos, the ISD was the peak Star Destroyer within the Imperial Navy. It was a massive 1,600 meters long, had a crew of over 9,000 officers, 27,000 enlisted, and 9,700 stormtroopers. Weapon systems consisted of over 60 turbo lasers and ion cannons. It had 2 TIE starfighter wings equaling 72 fighters. The Imperial Star Destroyer was used to deploy, subject, and oppress any star systems that tried to stand up to the Empire. However, this vessel did have some weaknesses. It was too large to completely protect itself from smaller craft and starfighters. Its design as a large, heavily armored Star Destroyer with powerful turbo lasers left its starfighter deployment lacking. Struggling to launch its 2 starfighter wings in response to rebel attacks is what allowed rebels to hit and run ISDs or other Imperial installations. Its exposed command bridge also left the ISD vulnerable, and its bridge destruction left the ship crippled. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer took after its predecessor, but increased its size and weapon systems. Now manufactured by Kuwa and Trala Enterprises, this Star Destroyer is a massive 2,916 meters and came armed with over 1,500 turbo lasers and ion cannons, along with smaller point defense batteries and missile systems. Improving on Imperial-era turbo lasers, the RSD's turbo lasers were more powerful and had a faster recharge rate thanks to kyber crystal focusing. This engineering was kept highly classified and was limited due to the crystal's rarity. Although it was designed after the Imperial-class Star Destroyer, it took a lot of inspiration from the Republic-era Venator-class Star Destroyer. Seeing how the ISDs lacked carrier characteristics and struggled to deploy starfighters effectively, the Resurgent-class dorsal flight deck, side hangars, and long keel are leftovers from the Republic-era vessels. Learning from the destruction of the Executor at the Battle of Endor, the RSD featured an off-center command bridge with redundancy in command and control systems. It also had its own dome deflector shield and point defense turbo lasers to further screen enemy starfighters. Now for a head-to-head battle that I feel is pretty one-sided. Let's pit the ISD against the RSD. Old School Empire versus the First Order's premier Star Destroyer. If these two ships were to battle, what would happen? Well, first let's talk about crews. I'd say that both officers and enlisted are fairly equal. While the Empire recruited from around the galaxy, the First Order conscripted its troops at a young age. Many high-ranking officers in the First Order also came from families of former Imperial officers or were a part of the Empire before its fall. For this head-to-head, let's just say that the crews are equal. Next, let's talk about an obvious issue. The sheer size of the RSD and its high number of turbo lasers and ion cannons would be a lot for an Imperial-class Star Destroyer to handle. Not only did the RSD improve on the design of the ISD, it removed a lot of the weaknesses by protecting the command bridge, supporting the midsection of the Star Destroyer, and focusing also on its carrier aspect. The Resurgent-class Star Destroyer is able to deploy its starfighters more effectively because of its dorsal flight deck, side hangars, and belly hangar. If an Imperial-class Star Destroyer engaged with an RSD, it would no doubt lose in a direct ship-to-ship conflict. Its size and limited turbo lasers compared to the Resurgent would be a major disadvantage in a slugging match. Not only that, if the RSD needed to deploy its starfighters, it could do so far more efficiently and before the ISD could. So sadly, the win goes to the Resurgent-class Star Destroyer. Now I know, it's a sequel-era vessel. You could argue that all the ships in this era were exaggerated to the max. This battlecruiser was massive and had a ridiculous amount of weapon systems. It was also insane that these were able to be manufactured and not discovered by the New Republic. I think we'll get more information on how the Imperial Remnant was able to build what will become the First Order in other Star Wars series like Mando or Ahsoka. I don't hate the Resurgent just because of some of the negative notions surrounding the sequel trilogy. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised to read about how it was influenced by Republic-era vessels. I also think there was a lot of thought put into its design and how it improved on the Imperial-class Star Destroyer's weaknesses. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. Like and subscribe, have an amazing day, and may the Force be with you.